Hello friends, welcome back to Sage Thyme. We've got a reading today. I don't know what it is. Do you know? Do you know what it is yet? I don't know. All I heard was sit down, read, it'll help you feel better. We got some things going on briefly in astrology. Yesterday I spoke about the triple water trine. I want to bring you back to that number 27, which is 3 cubed. Oh, and here we are on 11/11 of 2025. So 11/11/9. That's pretty cool. We're going to pull first from the Herbal Astrology deck because it's the one who giggled loudest. Oh, and the other astrology, Mercury retrograde is about to conjunct Mars in Sagittarius. So it's an interesting energy and it's a mixed bag, right? Mars is pretty happy and feisty, but also, Sag, that expansive wisdom, expanding the consciousness and understanding of reality. Horsetail, patience. What a counter, right? We talked about that yesterday too. This countering energy that's very zen and USA. I actually went to the local co-op today and got some herbs to make I'm calling it my USA tea. It's got lemongrass, lemon balm, linden flower leaf. I don't think it's actual flower. It's got hops and catnip and spearmint, and it has red clover in it, but I meant to put hops in it. Did I say it? Anyway, so I think that's the lowdown of it, and it's I gleaned it off of the ingredients that are in a nighty-night tea is what it's called by traditional medicine or tradition, whatever. It's a tea bag. And of course, doing the little things I can to save money and to be earth conscious, right? So making my teas bulk is another one of those little things, but this is my USA tea. I don't feel super zen USA. However, patience. I do feel the energy is strong, but it's vibrant. It's not so anxious, depending on who I was encountering in my out and abouts. So the energy, while it feels strong, feels clean and clear. Here's the card for it. And we have that purity of the white horse back there, and no, not a unicorn. The pentagram, which is protective of that patience. The river running, the white horse sitting at the riverbank as it flows by and burbles gently, taking its time. With this magic moving around from the water and the horse, this exchange between, the horse can represent, like Sagittarius and the centaurs, the horse can represent unbridled freedom and wind, so unbridled thinking. But here, and combined with the river and the horse is laying down, he's moving energies, he's moving his thoughts, that wind, that also Mars incentive to just with the wind be fierce and fiery and go and go and go. And instead the white horse is connecting with the purity of his environment and what that means with his given environment, which of course includes the water here, the river flowing, and the magical exchange between that. And it's creating a protection around him in combination with the horsetail. Now, horsetail, I'll remember, hopefully I will, to reread, stuttering, stuttering. That's our Mercury retrograde. So things are a little stumbly, but nothing so obtruse, right, that we can't reel it back in. Horsetail is notoriously known for increasing the collagen of hair and nails. It does other things too. We'll read about it. But what came to me first and foremost when I saw the horsetail here is this. Horsetail used to be back in the Jurassic something or other, you know, when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Forgive me, anybody who is well versed in the different eras, because I don't know them, but I do love dinosaurs. So horsetails date back millions of years, and if I remember my studies correctly, horsetails were the first tree-like flora, and they had huge trunks like a giant evergreen. They were the trees before our present day trees existed. And their size shifted, of course, over time. We now know horsetails are only a few feet tall, but they're hardy, and they've adapted in size to fit the environment somehow. They work with the environment, and we'll find them on banks that can dry out, but they tend to be at the bottom of water runs. So they're able to be really versatile in planting themselves where they know they'll be nourished when there is a deluge or a torrent of water. And here, this little river flowing by the horse, I keep wanting to say unicorn because he's white, it's pretty high. So we're thinking about springtime rains with this, and horsetails popping up saying, yes, all right, we're going to grab these nourishments, this nurturing water, and really infuse our bodies with this cool, clean nurture. So that's that. And then I didn't even know these these came out. No, we're not going to use those. Well, they tie to it, so I will mention them. Valerian, which is acceptance, and rhodiola, which came up from an earlier reading. And ginseng, we read about that. And that's wisdom. So the wisdom of acceptance. Let's leave those there, right? Because we know there's no accidents. And when we truly know we've actualized that wisdom of accepting that there are no accidents, then there's this sense of peace if we can let go of the need to control, right? And the antithesis of control is acceptance. And that can be very jarring to individuals whom haven't done the work through releasing control work, having to really embody full acceptance. It's easy to say, and people will say, oh yeah, we accept that all the time. But do they really? How well do they navigate like the Wu Wei upon the Tao River, the flow of water? So you may be going through, I was hearing a moment ago that you've been feeling into and experiencing more openings into greater depths of acceptance just in the last couple of days, maybe in the next coming days too. This may have to do with that Mercury retrograde crossing in front of Mars, which is phenomenal. When Mars is in his lower octave, the go, meet expectations, he does act from a place of needing to control the situation. He does tend to be reactive, and as a side effect, it's a symptom of needing to control situations. I'm remembering I don't, yeah, I was, when I was doing my errands, I had a disrupt. Okay, I will share this. Something very small. I went to go fill up my water jugs, and one of the folks that work there, it was hard to even say who because they were exchanging hands with the water jugs, accidentally cracked the water jug. No big deal. It's like, it's not a huge chunk of change to replace the water jug, but I had this moment of, and it shocked me that I was taken aback by it. I was almost disappointed in myself. I had this moment of, why isn't anybody taking accountability? They broke it, they need to replace it, you know, accept responsibility for the consequences of your actions, even when they're a mistake. And something was holding me back from asking them to be accountable. And it didn't feel like that, oh, I don't want to upset anybody, you know, I don't want to rock the boat. It felt like my guides were asking me to simply, there's my throat cinching up a little bit. Something's not wanting me to speak this truth. My guides wanted me to allow them to take accountability and responsibility for it. Wow, that's incredible. Which was fine. This is a big one. I have this want to edit that or stop the recording and redo it, right? That goes with that need of perfection. And that was part of it. See, the whole thing wasn't about them taking or not taking accountability or responsibility. The whole thing was about what I was experiencing as an expectation and the intensity of that expectation, because that's how I was raised. Those high-level expectations for every small, minor thing that I did or didn't do, but was easily pinned on me, created an incredible weight. And I'm sharing this because I have a feeling that you guys can relate to this. It created an incredible weight and sense of responsibility for every mistake, and a sense of guilt and shame, because that was the covert and overt reactions from the people I grew up with and family and so forth. Was, you know, and then of course denying it was the second hand. That was something that really needed to come out, and there was a hand, that handprint again, trying to prevent me from saying it. So I'm leaving that in this recording. It feels very important. And, you know, it's such a beautiful thing to share, this vulnerability and this raw, not so pretty moment with you, because in the event of this very small and yet very, you know, important and poignant discovery and release and alchemy of a situation, a spirit likes to teach us in small and simple ways by exaggerating the small and simple ways, so they don't have to give us the big power gut punches, although there are times where our soul is definitely contracted to experience it that way, as you know, because you have. And if you have, then it is part of the design of your soul's journey in this particular lifetime. Might be a little loud. So, long story short, I was in this moment and I was feeling this like jarring, getting whammied by the energy. I knew it wasn't necessarily the individuals that were at the shop. It was me and my ancestry. It was me and my ancestry and their expectations on me that I was, because I was tired, it was the end of my errands, I was moving towards automatic, NPC energy, where I wasn't as strong, so I wasn't as embodied in my presence. And so it was easier to rock me. So in that moment, I'm trying to bring in my breath, pulling in my sense of conscious awareness within my body, just staying in my breath, letting it move me, letting those energies in that upset feeling, which was not directed at them, even though had I been even less present, I could have totally fallen into that, like we all do when we get overtired, overworked, over-Marsed. So I was able to be in that, and two of the folks that work there that I know pretty well, they felt it, and they were like, "Hey, are you okay? Did something shift?" And I said, "Oh yeah, no, it's just me working something out." And I let the energy, the feeling, and the sensations, and whatever thoughts could have been coming through me, like thoughts of like, yeah, and I did hear these ones like in my head, wanting to direct at them. You need to take responsibility for your mistake. And it wasn't that harsh or that fierce, but the ancestry tone of it was in the energy of the thoughts and the words. It was a thought form. This is a thought form, a program, a curse, quote unquote, right? It's a structure embedded within us. I felt it. This is kind of going on for a minute. And I let it do its work with me as I held presence to it and stabilized my system, my body, my tones, and everything, and just got with my breath because I'd been in practice with it. And was I perfect? No, because it did shake me for about 2 or 3 minutes. But I dialed it in, and my responses and conversation with the folks that worked there went really well. It certainly wasn't anything, ucky. But I got to experience that torrent, that turbulence, and I held steady enough. And as I came home, I was able to finish the process of it and now share it with you all. That, whoops. Oh, this card's extra blessed. It fell on the dog. I love it. The Devil, Knight of Wands, and the Chariot. I mean, right? Okay, so that was it, the program. And you can see this person here at the bottom, trapped in the encasement of what we could talk about as a thought form that she did or did not, he did or did not create. Nonetheless, still dances on her head as she's stripped raw and wrapped in that. And when it occurs and we get caught by it, if we don't know what we're working with and we don't understand it, we don't have a framework of how to translate what's going on. Of course, mine doesn't necessarily have to be yours. Things like thought forms or even entities or things like that. You may think in terms more of Western psychology, and those could be true too. And neural pathways, there's another also true. So many truths can exist in the same space, and they can cause and affect one another. And who's really to say if the chicken or the egg came first? And even if we did figure it out, does it really matter? Our job more so is to work with it, be present with it. And that's what the Knight of Wands is talking about with this conversation. He felt the fire, but you can see here he's pausing his mount, his steed, which kind of has that, I mean, I know it's not a centaur, but it has that one creature and another creature and another one all combined together. with these fox at their feet, doing foxy kind of things. They're agile and clever, but they're also naughty at times when they get too fiery, right? When they get too on the go-go. And the Knight of Wands has that fervor of reactivity and impetuous, but he's not a page. He's not the youthful teenager. He is in his adulthood, so he is able to slow things down. Oh yeah, this is like a lion and a gazelle and a horse all in one. Oh, that's so cool. For some reason, it's like making me very happy. And this creature, he is holding his dignity with his human mount or person mount. And so they're feeding off of each other's energies, maintaining a sense of strong and fiery energy, and also paced and deliberate. You know, not letting those little fucks get too far ahead of the pursuit. And again, here we have the chariot, but now we're bringing back in the water. And these magical creatures that are carrying this Cancerian, you know, watery, maternal flow, just like in the Horsetail card. I mean, gosh, these two, they're really talking to each other. We're flowing with the currents. We're flowing with the tides, and we're using our magic to pull us. And while it may have harnesses and reins and everything, by using our intention, which is a felt experience within, in connection with the felt experience of that spiritual connection with the water elementals, we're able to, in concert, work together, move together, flow together, and fire and water, right? I don't know. There's something really special about that. That's the wisdom. That's the acceptance. Okay, I think what we'll do, we'll wrap this up by reading Horsetail. Keep this nice, and I'm learning to be concise again. I used to, well, I'm bringing it back, my ability to orate and articulate and be concise with patience. Let's hold this up, at least for a few moments. All right. Latin name for Horsetail is Equisetum arvens. Keywords: endurance, steady focus, period of gestation, trust the process, heightened sensitivity. Astrological rulers are Saturn, which is in Pisces right now, and Venus, which is in Scorpio. Yes? I believe so, yes. Okay. Whenever you cross paths with a horsetail, you are looking at a member of the sole surviving genus of a once great lineage. Ooh, they remember in the book. Prehistoric horsetail is said to have been giant compared to the remaining species that exist today. This primitive plant is a descendant of large trees from the Paleozoic era. They totally have this. About 375 to 600 million years ago, or so, give or take. These plants emerged from primordial swamps over 100 million years, long before dinosaurs walked on the earth. Okay, so I was a little off on that part. All cultures to which horsetail was native used it as food and medicine, often cooking it like a vegetable or chewing it raw in the springtime. Horsetail strengthens connective tissue. That's right. Such as skin, hair, nails, bones, teeth, cartilage, and ligaments. Connective tissue. There's something in that for you, a little extra, that interconnectiveness, right? So our connective tissue helps hold our organs up and in place and keeps our bones together so we don't just crumble into a pile of inner business on the ground. So let's take it and extend it from the interconnection within and throughout into nature. It also has connective tissue between mucous membranes, just in case you needed to know that. In ancient times, it was referred to as a bone mender, as it was used to help heal broken bones, fractures, and osteoporosis. I wonder if it helps activate the calcium osteoblast and osteomast process. Vitamin D maybe helps assimilate it. We'll have to look that up. Horsetail is ruled by Saturn as strengthening the skeletal system and connective tissue and promoting wound healing, hair growth, skin protection, and bone strength are all in the ringed planet's domain. Saturn also corresponds with the processing of minerals within the body, particularly the kidneys, which Horsetail also nourishes. Ooh, that's a big deal. Archetypically, Saturn provides us protection, shielding, courage, endurance, patience, self-control, like the Knight of Wands, and the blessing of challenge. Saturn, known as Cronus in Greek, is the Lord of Time and viewed as a destructive, all-devouring force. Yeah, Cronus was not awesome. Yet Saturn isn't as malevolent as he is portrayed to be, as its energy teaches us self-mastery, the power we are granted once we overcome the cycles of pain and suffering. I'm going to read that again. Yet Saturn isn't as malevolent as it is portrayed to be, as its energy teaches us self-mastery, the power we are granted once we overcome the cycles of pain and suffering. And I was just reminded and asked to speak to this. While it says here Saturn in Greek mythology is related to Kronos, in Roman mythology, Saturn is related to Zeus. I think it's in Roman. In some mythologies, Saturn is related to Zeus, who was the only offspring of Kronos to escape him as Kronos was consuming all of his offspring. He ate them. And so Zeus escaped that. I think I talked about this quite a bit in a recent video. And Zeus, wounded and broken down, entered the deep, dark depths of a cave and recovered. And there's a whole interesting story of that. And so I bring that up because, as they mention here, Saturn isn't always the malevolent he's portrayed to be in terms of his relation to Kronos. We can also look at it as the overlay of Saturn being Zeus, the father and the son being met with the challenges of not becoming the father, but also in terms of the malevolent or the non-effective ways, right? So the son learning from the father what not to do based on the detrimental consequences without any benefit, but also recognizing what parts of his father that he thought were malevolent, that seemed malevolent, but as he grew in age and wisdom out of experience, realized that there were aspects of it, maybe perhaps a slightly better approach to it, a remodeled tradition of eating your children, consuming your children, finding a way to create consequence that's not so extreme. And we find this as adult children, and we go through our years and our stages, and we go, oh, those things that we thought our parents were just villainous as teenagers, by the time we're in our 20s, 30s, we go, oh, I get some of this, and then on with each decade, we're like, oh, I get all these things. And while some of them need to be refined and reformed, even omitted and dissolved, alchemized, disintegrated, released, all that. There are parts to it. And that wanted to come through. So I have a feeling that these are some of the processes that you're working with. Again, we've got that big triple trine in the water signs, Saturn being in Pisces, trine with Jupiter in Cancer, the chariot. Also trine with Lilith in Scorpio, as the last reading yesterday, 2 days, yesterday, really I spoke a great deal to. So if you haven't watched that, give it a go and check it out. So finally, the last paragraph, guidance. Horsetail teaches us, oh, you okay, buddy? He's having some stuff. Horsetail teaches us the power that lies within patience. That is something that Zeus had to learn, spending, I don't know, it was like time out of time in the deep dark cave in hiding. And Horsetail teaches us the endurance gained through the hidden blessings of challenges. There it is. There is something good in all seeming failures. And although that might not be clear in the moment, time will reveal it. Trust the process. Remember that stubbornness and willfulness are counterproductive to loosening knots. Instead, like the medicine of the horse, grounded to Earth's energy and ground to Earth's energy and adapt to changes and hardships on the journey. Horse medicine provides us heightened sensitivity and the purest of trust, essential tools to have as we navigate life's journey. Invoke the strength of horse as a power animal when you need increased psychic sensitivity and intuition. I mean, I don't think I need to say more. I feel like everything that needs to be bullet pointed has been said, and I can feel you hearing and feeling the messages in between the words and the lines, how they pertain to you and just how they pertain to human evolution as a whole. So this feels really beautiful and good, and I'm going to simply let that be, knowing and trusting and being in that full patient acceptance that brings about the wisdom. Let's hold these guys up. Patience, acceptance, and the wisdom acquired and accumulated therein. Knowing that that's present for you, knowing that it's true for you, because I know that is the power and presence that is available to us throughout all the universe. Throughout Great Spirit, Source, all, it's available. And I know as we both part from this reading in loving and honoring, respectful care and kindness to ourselves, and from that overflow in exchange with one another. I know that you are blessed, and I know this because I know it's true for me too. If it's true for me, it is true for you, as we each are able to and choose to accept, open, and receive it. And I release that knowing in truth. Recognizing that letting go of the hold and any attachment makes it fully and wholly available to myself and to you. So I thank you, and I love you, and you, the all, and I love myself. Go with love, go in peace. And so it is. Take care, friends.